I'd like to welcome you to the first ever complete disclosure of my patent. To start, I will try to make you familiar with the principal idea of the present air conditioning system, which in one form or another you could be familiar. The principal operation of the air conditioning system is to compress various types of gas. By doing so, is able to increase the temperature of the containers, which in most cases is an enormous amount of pipes. Needless to say, the more the pipes, the more gas and the more compression is required. In our invention, we did not use any gas. We have a very little amount of pipes and use a very little amount of liquid that in most, if not all cases, are not dangerous to the public or the ecology. Needless to say, less piping means less energy required. The normal small air conditioning would use about 2 kilowatts or 2000 watts of energy per hour, while our prototype use only 1/10, yes, about 120 to 200 watts per hour. For our example, the first prototype that I have created as an electric heating element that use 1200 watts, which is 1.2 kilowatts, but is on for about 5 to 6 minutes per hour. Plus, I could easily reduce the heating element presently used, being about 250 millimeter long, to 150, and also reduce the amount of liquid that I would need to heat the temperature to 50 degrees. Yes, the optimum temperature required would be only between 335 to 50 degrees Celsius. As you have noticed, there are also the internal parts of a split air conditioning, okay, that I try to convert to my invention. Even if I saw it is huge, and it all revolutionized the present concept of heating and cooling, from the simple bar heater to the centralized system. For a start, the installation will be nil in most instances. The power consumption will be reduced by 80%, less carbon emission and less power station required, as the present usage for heating and cooling energy is about 40% of the energy being used and rising. My intention is to create a public company listed on the stock exchange to be initially founded by a small number of investors. I'm nearly 80 years old. On my own, this task would be impossible. Okay. God helped me to this distance, and I could not ask any more. What I have disclosed now is only part of what I had in my mind, but is more than proof the technology that I have adopted. By the grace of God, and comparing to the properly designed model to be marketed in the Indian market for about 5,000 rupee onwards. We must consider that I have not discounted the use of a refrigerator, which is normally using less than 200 watts, to provide a cooling system, or properly designed ammonia operated refrigerator, which is still in use for most production of ice blocks all over the world. The design mode of my patent proved more than is possible to get cold air for a few rupees per hour. We must bear in mind that India has about 1/6 of the world population, and the invention could be licensed by the proposed public company under license to the rest of the world. My time is limited. Also, the opportunity to be part of this is being offered to a few selected persons that I consider to be my friend. I'm ready to discuss with any professional individual that is familiar with this field, plus any CA, to discuss the true value of this invention. Before I thank you, I just give you an idea of what I had. This one here is only using 200 miserable watts. Okay? This one here, a converted split system, is using 500 watts, which is a quarter of what they normally use. Still, there is a lot of problem when they design this part of the air conditioning, but it's not for me to discuss at this moment. While this other one, it is a far more advanced model. It might look terrible, it might look ugly, it might look not like a Ferrari, it must only look like a Tata. So what? It might be more efficient, who knows? I thank you for your time, okay, and sorry if you didn't like my simple invention that is going to revolutionize the total world as far as cooling and heating, because for too long so much energy has been wasted because they follow a simple idea that end up being a great monster and a lot of energy being wasted for years and years. Let's start with a brand new design where it will save a lot of money to the public and also less power station which use fossil fuel. I thank you and I hope I enlighten you in some way. Spread the word around. Thank you.